Let us continue our discussion on formatted scanf input function, rules that governs the syntax of scanf function. I'll write those rules here. We'll discuss them one by one. What is the rules and what is the set of groups there? Let us do it. I have written here what is called as, I'll write once again, format scanf, say in parenthesis, control string, how it controls, close this, give the comma, and address list, close this is general format. And this, to write a scanf in its proper format, there are certain rules to be followed while writing this. I will explain what is control string and what is address list. Let's go for the first, the rules regarding scanf function. The first one, rules, say here. Okay. Control string must be enclosed within a pair of double quotes. Look here. Control string within the pair of double quotes here, that is this and this, that should be in a parenthesis, what is called as control string. The control string should be enclosed or must be enclosed in double quotes. Every time a programmer must write this double quote, otherwise it will be an error. It will be an error and that has to be rectified. Control string, the first rule, control string must be enclosed within a pair of double quotes. That is possible. The second one, for every input variable, there must be one character group. There must be one character group. What is the group and what is its meaning? Immediately we are writing a table for reference. That is, for every input variable, there must be one character group, and that is combination with % symbol. Let us go for the third rule. Each character group should begin with. The second rule says every input variable there must be one character group. Say D or say F or say yes or say R or say I. There are many. Okay. So third rule says each character group should begin with % symbol, that is first, and followed by conversion character. These are certain characters here. D, F, S, R, say few more. We will make a list, make a table for our reference. That control string should begin within the double quotes, that is % symbol, and one character group letter, that is character, which is a converting character. Converting character here. This character and their meaning will discuss soon after these rules. Rule number 4, that is here. What is to be written in control string, that is double quotes we are discussing. Multiple character group can be allowed within the double quote. Here is scanf. Okay, this is parenthesis. Here this is %, double D, say comma or a space, then percent, double D, say percent, say double C, like this. It is not here, this and that, like this. This is double quote. So multiple number of character groups can be allowed within the control string. In such a case, they may be separated by a blank space or by a comma. I can write a comma or leave it with a blank space or commas like this. We'll have some examples at the end. This is multiple character group can be written within the double quotes or as a control string. That is rule number 5. Rule number 4. Let us go for the rule number 5 regarding the address list. The address list, we write address list should contain addresses of memory location of input variable. Say for example, sum is input variable. Say sum is equal to x, say operation y. X is input variable int. Y, say this is. Y is input variable again. So here we assign the value to the variable, interactive or non-interactive method, leave it, and then that value to be stored in some memory location, that is called as its address list. That is memory location. It tells about the memory location of the input variable, say x, y, or say even sum. It tells about the location of input variable. So this is rule number 5. Rule number, not row. Each input variable in the address list must be written, say variable x, variable y, written preceded with amperes and say x, right, and say y, and say sum, like this. That is in address portion of the formatted input function. Say for example, add variable, say this and r. This is how we should write. Say and basic pay. You can write basic pay. Okay. Now, sometimes we have the numeric variables, input variables. Sometimes we have the non-numeric input variables. String inputs variables, the symbol amperes and need not be used. It's not compulsory, you can say. You can write it, or sometimes it is need not be used. It's not that compulsory here. That is about rule number 6. Let us go for another rule, that is all the address list. Here I have given the example. All the address list must be separated by commas. Here we should not leave any blank like this. This is one address list, this is another address list. It should be separated by comma. This should be another address list separated by comma. That is rule number 7. Now, this address list should not be enclosed in double quotes. I should not write like this. Say here, okay, and x. Okay, it is comma. it should not be written like this. It is wrong. This is wrong. And x and y, say here comma, sum, right? This is, that should be followed by, means preceded by and. Say and basic pay, or sometimes it need not be written here, and it should not be enclosed within double quotes. That's what this 7 points to be, point number 7 to be remembered. Address list should not be enclosed in double quotes. That is rule number 8. That is rule number 9. Suppose, that is, we have here control string for 3 variables. Even in address list, I have written here, for example, there should not be 4 address list and 3 variables here. Control string is written for only 3 variables. There must be 3 address list. That's what the rule number 9 specifies. Let me read the values for the address list. Variable should match in number, type and order. For this it is this, for this it is this, and this one 3, 3, 2, 2. That should match order and number as well. Even type of data here, this has different meaning. Soon we are discussing this. Don't forget, that is rule number 10. Don't forget to write a comma, a separator, right, between control string and address list. Control string and address list must be separated by a comma, and we should write the comma, otherwise this format will show the error in a program. I'll write some examples here. Using all these 3, or say using all the rules, following all the rules, I'll write some of the examples for scanf formatted input function. Let me write example number 1. Scanf. Here scanf, I'll write left parenthesis, double quote, say %sign D. I need not write comma here, %sign, say yeah, say %sign, say C. Complete this double quote. This is control string for multiple combination of groups here. %D, %yeah, %C. You can write this way or you can leave this. That is optional here, but there must be a comma. Now this D and X. Okay, it is comma and Y. It is comma and say and Z. Right? This is to be included in this parenthesis and terminated with semicolon. Let us go for another example on this, that is scanf. Okay, write this parenthesis, %symbol, this D, say %symbol, yeah, say %symbol, and C. The same thing I written with separated this one. Okay, separation. And A, say and B and C. Okay. This is, in this all the 7 to 8 or 10 rules are followed. This is for one variable, this is another, and these are the memory location, these are the 3 addresses. 3 variables, 3 addresses, and 3 control strings here. Let's take another example here. This scanner, this percent sign says C, that should be written here, okay, and percent sign with F, close this, and CH, say here, and STR, string, then close this, close this. One more you can take example, scanner, okay, say double quote, percent say yeah, say yeah, percent, I'll write percent first, yeah, double quote, separation of comma, say and yeah, value 1, comma, say this should be 1, and F value 2, okay, close this way. There are many examples you can write on this. Now let's go for the table for different character group, I'll write, say different character group. Every user should remember this. If you go on using this frequently, definitely you can remember character groups. And the meaning, Now see this, there is conversion with scanf. This is for with scanf. The input, formatted input function here. We are discussing about the formatted input function called as scanf. Its details, information. Conversion, character group. Okay, this is, and the meaning of that. Let us write one by one and make the table. Say here percent C. We have written here percent C. This will read this control string combination, followed, that is percent, followed by a character, will have the meaning read a single character. It may be a numeric or non-numeric character, single character. When you are using a single digit, you are free to use this percent C, a combination of control string in scanf function. That is one. The second one, D, percent D, right? Read it as a decimal number. Read a decimal number. The meaning of this. When we write this percent D here, we have written this will read a decimal number or decimal integer will have. Integer. Okay, if I write decimal number, it may be integer or non-integer. So for this, it is particular, read a decimal integer, whole number. Let us go for, say, percent E. This is for read the floating point number. Read a floating, we have seen, we are knowing right now this floating point number, real number. We know the meaning here in C language right now. Say 4%, yeah. This also reads the floating point number. F, E. Normally they use F, E, even G. Percent G. E, F, G are used to read a floating point number, real number with decimal point. 6. Floating point, say %h, small h. This will read short integer number. When we have discussed a data type, I may not touch that portion. We have modifiers called as qualifiers. We can use a number to a short, to a long, to a double, and so on. They are called as additional qualifiers for a data type, right? That is short integer number h. Say 7% I, small I. It will read decimal or hexadecimal or octal. Decimal number, decimal, hexadecimal or octal. These are number systems. We are using commonly decimal, hexadecimal and octal are the number systems. This control string combination of percent and I will read decimal number, hexadecimal and octal. If you use this %O alone, it is for octal itself. Okay. Then 9% P for pointer. Okay, pointer is another. %S, somewhere I have used. Now %S is used for string. Okay, %S control string for reading. This is scanf is a reading input statement. String, it reads string. Say %U, read unsigned number or integer. Read unsigned integer. %X, read hexadecimal number. So, friends, what we have discussed today is we have started discussing input and output operation. How input, what is meant by input? Input is a function, output is a function. Here we have what is called as a library of this function, library of functions, and we are using this library of functions at the beginning of a C program in the form of preprocessor statement called as header file. And there we have the two types of input and output, that is formatted input or output functions, unformatted input and output functions. With examples I have given something here, and we have discussed what is called as formatted input scanf function. Now, to elaborate this formatted input scanf function, it reads the input data entered through the interactive method called as through data or inputs or data supplied by the user through the keyboard, and for this it is scanf. Well, how to write now in a control string with this notation, groups D for decimal, integer, another thing. How to write the when it comes to a integer, when it comes to a what is called as floating point number, when it comes to a what is called as character group, constant or a character type data, string data. We'll discuss it in the next video. Thank you.